basically, guys, oh yes, thank God for my daily vlogs. I just did want to say, for those who are in South Africa, even in Swaziland maybe, like where there's a Clicks, I think it might be going. You know how Clicks has for the 3 for 2 special? So this quinoa is on the 3 for 2 special. And quinoa is expensive, y'all. So a free bag of quinoa is worth it. So whilst we wait, whilst I cook, whilst I wait for the onions to saute, whilst food gets ready. Anyway, I was walking back from work because yay, we are actually doing that. So the whole point of moving into this flat is actually being executed. So I do walk from work to home. Over December I used to walk from home to work, but it's quite hot here and I don't want to be a sweaty mess when I get to work. So now I only walk on the way back, but it's happening. I'm getting some exercise in, and with my current back issues I think it's helping, but I also don't want to overdo it because anyway, that's not why I wanted to talk to you guys. I was thinking on the way back when I was coming back from work, I was thinking like, why actually has it taken it so long for me to actually write this PhD? And why am I so disinvested in it after fighting for it so hard? Like when I first brought up the idea of the topic for my PhD, like it was one of those like, oh, here we go, another student going off the rails, but not going off the rails, you know what I mean? Like it just seemed like, oh, you could be doing other stuff, you know. And I fought really hard to do this PhD, like this particular topic of my PhD. And after all of that, like after that like massive fight, like guys, I fought hard for the topic. I had the worst proposal presentation ever, which just sort of like proved to everybody how just this was a bad idea. But after some time like talking about it and sharing it with people, and people seeing my passion, and also seeing how digital anthropology is growing field, like not only locally but overseas, like it started making sense, you know, like it started making sense. And I won over a lot of people, a lot of professors, a lot of doctors, a lot of colleagues, a lot of sort of lecturers. Like I had to do a lot of fighting to get this PhD off the ground, to get it going, you know, and to get funding for it. Well, funding came, thank you NIHSS, you do such great work, you know. And I did it, like I did my PhD, like I was present, I was collecting data, I was there, I mean I did my PhD, I coded the data, and then when it came to writing I just never actually wrote it. And I was like, when did I check out? Like when did I decide that this thing is not worth the pursuit anymore? Because I've done most of the work. And yes, I would like to say that it's fear, and probably is. A lot of it is probably embedded in fear, because I didn't go into my PhD with the best self-esteem, granted. And yeah, I didn't go into my PhD with the best self-esteem. Sorry guys, it's so windy. And so I think a lot can be said for fear, but I think also laziness. Like laziness is such a thief, you know, like it can, whether that's laziness because of fear or laziness because of laziness or whatever, I think a big part of it is actually being been about being lazy. And this is then to actually respond to a comment from Sega, who responded on one of my videos where I said, oh, I'm going to turn this into a daily vlog. And that's one of the reasons why I've turned this into a daily vlog, because I actually am trying to fill up time. Because for a long time I had, like last year, guys, granted I worked a lot, but I also had a lot of free time. This PhD could have been written a long time. I had tons of free time. Did I use any of that time to actually work towards it? And I find that like you check out of so many things. Like you check out of like participating, like going out with friends, then you check out from participating in work stuff, and then you check out from participating in sort of like neighborhood stuff, then you check out from participating from like bigger things, and then it's, oh, I don't want to be part of like the church society or the neighborhood society, or oh, these people are so in my business, or, and we check out and we write off so many things, and that's like festers a spirit of laziness in us. Like, I don't know about other people, but definitely for me, the less I do and the less I'm involved in life, the lazier I am and the less interested in doing even the things that I'm most passionate about. Sorry guys, as I was saying, for me what I find is that there is a certain level of busy that I need to be. If I've got too much time on my hands, I get overly lazy. There's a level of busy that allows for optimal productivity, for me at least. I'm not one of those people that can sort of like, I'm an extremist. I'm either indulging in free time, and I mean indulging, or I am absolutely going, excuse me, full force, productive, working, and I was never one for in-betweeners. Here it is, yo. Here it is. It is a brown mess. Let me see if I can get it for you. It really is just a brown mess, but it is, I could have put tomatoes in here, but honestly I was too lazy to chop them up. I've got those little cherry tomatoes, which actually could make this a lot nicer, but it's just lettuce, quinoa, brinjal curry, and some people sriracha, but I soul fire. Soul fire sauce from Chicken Licken. Oh, right. So it is. It's about 10 o'clock in the evening. After 10, probably going for 11. And after cooking today, I literally just let this evening go to waste. And I know, so this afternoon I was telling you guys about being lazy and how did I get to this point of laziness and things like that, and just allowing being lazy to take over my life. And it's like these little procrastination things that you're allowed to interfere. Like this afternoon already, I started with this whole like, oh, I left the notebook at work, I can't do this if I don't have the notebook. But I literally have like 4 other notebooks that I could go through to do it, because this is basically what I wanted to do for today. Today I wanted to write out the whole conceptual, the whole structure of the PhD, and basically like slot it out, like what's my main idea, what's going to be the supporting argument, and that kind of thing. And what that means is that I have to orientate myself with basically my notes. So I have to go through my notes, I have to go through my notebooks and look at like what I thought was important, what I didn't think was important, look at some of the alleys I went down and then dropped off. Because I mean, I have been writing, but I haven't actually been writing from I've been writing from the heart, but I actually don't know how those things meet together. But I know that, how do I explain it? I've been writing, but I haven't been writing for a purpose. I haven't been writing towards a target. I haven't been writing towards a main argument. And that's what I need to do. And I'm going to show you guys like how I'm building it up. This is sort of what I'm trying to do with my research. And this is what when I say that I need to create the sort of the framework for my PhD, this is what I need to do. So when you write your PhD, you have what is considered your main argument. And this main argument is what is the overarching argument that runs through all the different chapters that you're going to write. So every single chapter that you write should be being written towards this main argument on top. And that's what they consider the golden thread. So they always talk about like a golden thread in your, when you write your PhD, and that's it. That's like the main argument. What is the argument that you have or are making in this PhD? And then I work in threes. So I always try to have 3 main chapters. Let's say the argument is that global warming is real and it's getting worse, right? And then on on chapter 1, the argument then will be that look at the polar ice caps. And then within the polar ice caps, you look at melting ice caps, you look at, I don't know, what people find and how you can use polar ice caps to explain why global warming is real and getting worse. And then underneath that chapter, you have 3 sections or subsections or point 1, point 2, point 3, but subsections in the chapter. And these subsections basically work towards proving this point, this argument for chapter 1, which is polar ice caps are an example of global warming being real. And then chapter 1 goes towards being evidence for this main point. So you're basically building this PhD like a pyramid, I suppose. Same thing with chapter 2. You would look at maybe the growing hole in the ozone layer, and then you would have 3 points or 3 sections in the chapter that would be explaining that'd be proving that there is a growing hole in the ozone layer for one, and then proving how it is part of it is because of global warming. And then, for example, chapter 3, I gave an example here of changing weather patterns. So you would look at things like increased tsunamis, freezing in Africa, the polar vortex that just happened recently in the US, and that then you would use all of these to explain how they're part of changing weather patterns and how changing weather patterns are part of global warming. So you basically, this is how you build sort of your PhD argument. And all of these are supposed to work towards proving your main argument, your golden thread. So that's what I need to do tonight. That was my plan anyway for what it is that I wanted to do tonight. So I'll let you guys know if I manage to do it for my own. It is 1:46 in the morning. We have wins and we have some losses. I didn't finish writing the body of my PhD frame, the frame that I showed you guys. Now the whole thesis has a slightly different structure, like it has an introduction, obviously a background and all of that kind of stuff, but what I showed you now was like the main body, like the argument, the meat of the entire process. So that was a couple of hours ago. I have actually gone in and gone through some of the chapters I'd started writing, and yeah, just familiarizing myself with the who's who in the neighborhood, you know, like what, you know, just trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, where should it fit, because it's like a puzzle, you know, you're trying to put the pieces together. But I think I'm gonna sort of maybe call it a day in the next few minutes. But yeah, like I almost have it in my, you know, writing, it's like, you know, when you have a word like at the tip of your tongue, but for the life of you, it just refuses to come out. Like it just, but you can feel that word just waiting to be relieved from thine mouth. So that's where I kind of am right now. So I don't actually know if I will get it out or if this is going to need a fresh brain, but I'm very happy with where we are. I'm also very pleased with myself for not going to bed earlier because I was very tired. I was feeling very like anti myself, and it's been quite a like emotional day today. Like I've been actually quite emotional. Like when I was coming back from school and I started procrastinating, I went into this whole spiral of just like self not being nice to myself. And then I got super emotional about, because I went on Twitter today. I mean, I went on Twitter yesterday, but I went on Twitter today. Like I went in, I scrolled through, and like I saw what's happening at Wits, and I saw some videos, and I read a little bit more about what happened at DUT and the student who passed away. Like actually just took a moment to think about what's happening at our universities. And the thing is, actually I'm still so traumatized from 2016. Every time like I hear Fees Must Fall, I literally just want to fall apart. Like my heart just breaks. Like all I want to do is just cry. Like, so I haven't been able to really engage with that, or even really, I can't even process it. And you know, to be able to talk about something, you need to actually know what's going on, and like, but I can't actually engage with it at that level because like I break down emotionally inside. I just completely and utterly just break. So I've been feeling like a cry for the last sort of like from this evening onwards. Going on Twitter was really not a good idea. So I just feel like a cry. I think I might just cry. But I feel really a lot better. I'm glad that I didn't entirely, even though I didn't reach my goal, I'm glad that I didn't give up on it and just not do anything, because every little thing counts. Like every little thing counts. And also sometimes with writing, the thinking is what actually takes up time. Like you spend so much time like looking like you're procrastinating, but you're actually doing a lot of thinking. And yeah, that's what I'm sort of doing now, like trying to get this thing that's dancing at the tip of my tongue to come out so I can put it down on paper. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful rest of your week. It's Friday when you see this, hey? So also happy weekend. I don't know if I'm gonna vlog on the weekends. I don't actually know if I'm gonna make it like, I might do a set. I might not put a video up on Saturday and then put a video up on Sunday.